Hello and good morning friends, welcome to the CEC-UGC live lecture. Dear friends, today in this session we would be discussing on meaning of concept formation. We are going to discuss what basically the concept is and how the concept formation took place. I mean, how does the concept formation helps in further making the mind of the individual. So dear friends, for this very discussion we have again with us in our studios Dr. Parveen Sharma. Dr. Parveen Sharma is Associate Professor in Hindu College of Education, Sonipat. She has been teaching for the last 29 years as well as lots of students have been guided with their PhD degrees under her able guidance, as well as I would like to tell you all that she has written various papers which have been published in various journals both at the national and international level, and she has been attending various conferences. So dear friends, let's take advantages from her experiences and let's try to understand the meaning of concept formation. Hello ma'am, welcome to the UGC lecture.
Thank you Geetika ji. Good morning viewers and listeners. Generally we come across saying parents and teachers to the children that you should have correct concept. What is this concept? They keep on guiding the children that if you have the correct concept, then you can achieve the heights, you can fulfill your dreams, you can fulfill your goals. So in this session today, we'll discuss what actually do we mean by this concept formation and what is the role of teachers and parents, how they can contribute towards the children's success, how the concept formation is important in their life. Let us see. We begin with a very important question. How does a human being perceive knowledge? This occurs in three stages, that is sensation, perception and conception. In this very session, we will discuss what do we mean by sensation, what is perception and how sensation and perception combined together help the children in making the concept. And we will discuss how this concept formation is important in the achievement of any individual and what is the contribution of the individual himself or herself in getting the dreams fulfilled, and what a teacher, how a teacher can help the children and how the parents can contribute in the achievement of the children. So to begin with, we will discuss before the concept formation, we will discuss what is sensation. Sensation is just a sensory knowledge. When we try to understand anything with the senses only, that is auditory, hearing, seeing or touching, or by smelling or touching, that is what we mean by sensory information. And this is just related to the senses only. It does not have any relationship with its past experiences or prior awareness. After the sensation, then we come to the second stage, that is the perception. Here one is just leading towards the next stage, that is when any individual is just limited to the sensation, that is the stage in doubt, but perception takes an individual to the a feeling of the certainty. Then after the perception, there comes the third stage, that is the conception. We will later on discuss the kinds and types and the educational significance of the concept formation. Prior to this, let us understand what actually concept formation is. When sensation and perception combine together, they help the individual to form the healthy concepts. If sensation and perception do not combine together in a positive manner, then individual is not able to have a right concept, and these right concept formation is really important in any discipline, in any area, any kind of work. Herbert in this field suggested 5 steps in concept formation. We will discuss later on these 5 steps also, but before that let us have a clear cut idea how the sensation and perception are important prior to concept formation. When this concept is formed in a better manner, let us see what is the concept. See in the first picture, first slide, concept is the basic unit of all types of learning. Human beings from infancy to old age learn new concepts and use old concepts in the new situation of their daily life. I mean that when the sensation and perception, they combine together, they take the individual to form the concept, and they try to use the new experiences, and they try to combine the new experiences with the old one, because if the new experiences or the new events or the learning of the new things are not being related to the older one, then one cannot learn and when one cannot proceed further. Then see in this picture how the individual in the mind is going on, how the concepts are being formed. Concepts are the abstract forms of past experiences. They are general thoughts. The development of concepts in the human mind is gradual. The formation of concepts starts with the inception of the activity of thinking in the child, because thinking is not possible without concepts. As right now I spoke to you, when the sensation and perception, they combine together, they help the individual to form the right concepts, because concept is the tool of thinking. If concepts are not formed in a proper manner, in a positive manner, then one cannot think in a proper manner, because social adjustment and social achievements which help any individual in decision making and in any kind of activity, they are important. So basically we come to infer that if we have to take proper decision in the life, we have to think well, and if we have to think well, we have to form right concepts. Then further, how does man perceive knowledge? Sensation, perception and concept. 3 stages, they one after another, they come in the sequence. Sensation is visual. When any individual is just using the sense of visualizing, that is the seeing. Then the auditory, when one individual hear anything, any sound and tries to understand. Then the third is the olfactory, that relates with the sense of smell. Then the gustatory, that relates with the sense of taste, and the last is the tactile, that is related with the touch, because we are trying to sense anything with our 5 senses. Sometime sort of wrong sensation or the wrong feelings develop, that is the lack of sensory feelings. Then the perception. Perception is the next stage after the sensation. Sometime when we try to perceive things, then there comes the illusion and hallucination, which act like a barrier, act like an obstacle in forming the right concepts. How these illusion and hallucination takes place, we will discuss. See, illusion is a wrong feeling or wrong understanding of anything. What are the causes? How the illusion take place in the life of an individual? Sometimes we see irregularity in external circumstances. When one tries to understand with the using of his senses and tries to understand the meaning of those feelings, then sometimes the external circumstances may be disturbance at home, may be disturbance in the classroom, or maybe wrong dealing or negative dealing with the friends or the teachers, or any kind of disturbances that becomes a factor in the illusion. Then the defect in the sensation. Sometime illusion takes place when there is defect in the sensation and one is not able to get the meaning of particular sense. Then there comes illusion in the perception. Then absence of predetermined habits. Sometime wrong habits, maybe study habits, maybe working habits, they takes place in a wrong manner. So when the habits are not formed in a proper manner, then there comes the illusion. One is not able to understand whether this is a right feeling or a wrong feeling. I am just giving example. Suppose a student in the class is not doing his task or the assigned task or activities or homework, then teacher just rebuke the child for his better performance, then and the next day also the teacher may rebuke that particular child. So without understanding the meaning of that rebuke, that punishment, student may form the wrong illusion that this teacher is not liking me or is not good to me. Then the students create wrong senses, wrong feeling in his mind and tries to disobey further the teacher. So this way teacher wants to just correct the child, and with the wrong meaning, the student what he does, he wrong in a wrong manner, he thinks that he is after me. So this way the bad habits or the bad feelings are created in the mind of the learner. Then previous experiences. Sometime our previous experiences they become a factor in our illusion. Sometime we reach somebody for our work and the person is not cooperating us in our work, then we just make our experiences that all the teachers or all the persons in this office are not cooperative. So this our past experiences create a wrong illusion in our mind. Then present interest. Sometime our interests are being changed, so our interest creates the illusion in our mind. Then suggestions. Sometimes we are doing our activity, we are doing our work, and the suggestions from outside, maybe our friends, maybe in the community, maybe in the institution, maybe at home, the suggestions just divert our interest. This way interest create the illusion. Then the instructions. Sometimes students are sitting in the examination or in the class and instructions are being given by the instructor, by the teachers. So sometime in understanding the instructions, there comes the illusion, they are not able to understand what kind of instructions are being given, and they do not understand, they do not listen, and sometimes such kind of illusion come in that understanding. So these are different causes of illusion. Then next is the hallucination. What do we mean by hallucination? Hallucination is a sometime without being presence of external stimuli, we just keep on thinking in our mind or we just keep on saying by our mouth. So both way, verbal hallucination and the visual hallucination, they create obstacle, they create barrier in our understanding, in our right perception. And we know by the time that when we have a wrong perception, then wrong perception combining with the sensation are not able to form the right concept, and if we are not able to form the right concept, then we cannot think in a fine manner, which further takes us to the wrong paths. So what are the causes of hallucination? First, continuous reflection. Sometimes it happens that we keep on thinking about something in our mind, and that continuous reflection just create that thing in the aura, maybe in verbal or maybe visual, meaning by that thing is not there, that object or that person is not there in our environment, but we keep on thinking about that person. Then when we are alone, we keep on imagining the presence of that person because it was there in our mind. So this continuous reflection about that particular person creates such kind of hallucination, because that person is not there, but we keep on thinking about that person. So then when we are sitting alone, we feel that person is there before us, and sometimes we may be afraid of that thing. Imagination and daydreaming. Imagination is good, but when we do not perform and we just keep on imagining and we keep on dreaming, then it creates hallucination because we are not performing, but we are thinking, we are daydreaming that I stood first in the examination, and individual is not working hard, is not studying, but keep on imagining only that I stood first and people are clapping and people are garlanding me and they are welcoming me. We keep on daydreaming, and this kind of imagination and daydreaming creates hallucination, mental disease. Sometimes this kind of feeling in our mind, but this is not in the aura. This happens in the case of hysteria or schizophrenia or any other mental disease. We keep on thinking that is not in our environment, and sometimes we keep on listening that kind of sounds because that sound is not there in the environment, but we feel that we are listening that sound because we were reflecting on that particular thing continuously. So that's why further, when I will discuss the educational implications, I will discuss with you that how a teacher, how the parents can help the students, can help the children, that they must think in a positive manner, because if you keep on thinking about the negative thinking, then you will feel that these negative things are being happening in your environment. This is what we call hallucination. Then unconscious mind, something we feel that it is happening because it was there in our unconscious mind. Suppose we do not want to meet a particular person, and as we step out from our home, we feel in our mind, oh, I may not meet that person, and we will feel that that person is before us. What is that? Because it was there in our unconscious mind. Sometime when it is exaggerated, it becomes a disease. Then state of drunkenness, when one is drunk, one feel a kind of hallucination, may be verbal and may be visual. Suppose one person is sitting in a drunken position, then sometime will feel that somebody is calling me and will say yes and will start responding. This is also a case of mental disease because the person is in a drunken position and will feel. So this kind of thing or a concept is known as hallucination in perception. Then further, after the sensation and perception, we will discuss in detail what do we mean further by concept, because permanent marks or engrams are generated only after the formation of a concept, because in sensation there is no prior knowledge, no relation with the prior knowledge, and in perception it leads one to the case of some certainty, because as the person is limited to the sensation, one remains in the state of doubt. When perception stage comes, then it takes in any individual to the stage of some certainty. And in the third stage, which is the concept, then the permanent marks or engrams are generated over here, because now the concepts are being formed. A concept originates in perception. Both concepts and percepts are form of cognitive experience. In perception, there is awareness only, while a concept operates on the basis of image or mental picture which have been already formed in the mind. So, for example, a table is a concrete perception, and a thought of table is the concept, meaning by when one child, so a very small child touches the table, that feeling of touch, that feeling of awareness, that is the perception of the table. But when one individual, when that particular child is thinking, the thought of table is the concept. So, all are related to each other. In the beginning, in the first stage, the child is feeling the sense after the touching of the table, then perception, and then the third stage is that the thought of a table is the concept. Then how do we define the concept? According to Woodworth, an important tool of thinking is the concept. Further, Mun ML says, concepts are products of reasoning and once developed play an important role in thinking. And further, Hamerton says, concept is the process of discrimination of the common features and relation in the world of events, things and persons. Now, there are two types of concepts. First is the class concept and second is the abstract concept. What is this class concept? When one thing, one object represents the whole of the class, whole class of that objects, that is what we mean by class concepts. And abstract concepts is the when any quality of that object which is common to all the objects, all the phenomena, that is what we mean by abstract concepts. Then see the things that belong in this picture. This is a case of concreteness. Then important concepts. Now we will discuss what are the important concepts. To begin with, a child, a very small child, has no concept of space or depth or distance. As the child grows up, Piaget has given very intelligently the stages of development of a child. So, the child in the beginning has no idea of space, depth or distance. As the child grows up, just tries to understand the concept of space. Then the concept of weight. To begin with, child has no idea of weight, how the different things have different weight. For example, 1 kg cotton and 1 kg iron ore, they have different weight. This kind of concepts later on being understood by the child as he grows up. Then concept of numbers. Concept of numbers are not clear to the child. For example, you try to teach the child 2 plus 2 is not able to understand. In the beginning, child understand that these 2 mangoes, when added to 2 mangoes, they are 4 mangoes. Later on, the concept of number 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 is clear to the child. Then concept of time. Time sense is not clear to a very small child. Comes across to the child comes across to see the persons who are around in the home. When he sees that a particular member, suppose father, is at home on particular days like Sunday, other day he comes to see the different members, and for particular days this particular member is at home, then tries to understand maybe the feeling of Sunday or the off days. Then concept of self. In the beginning, the child is aware about self only, then tries to understand the his parts of the body and clothes. This cloth belongs to this part of my body. Then social concepts. In the beginning, child is not social. Is limited to his own needs only. When a second child comes in the family, the first child, there is sibling rivalry, does not tolerate that the mother is carrying the second child, other child in the lap. So, the social concepts are not there. As the child grows up, tries to become somewhat social, then he tries to be familiar with the second child in the family, and then when he starts going in the neighborhood for playing, then for the and in the school after that, then tries to mix up with the other children of his or her own age. Then aesthetic concepts. After these concept of self and social concepts, aesthetic concepts are being developed in the child. So, these important concepts, that is concept of space, weight, numbers, time, self and concepts and aesthetic concepts, they are developed in a sequence so that the child grows up and tries to mix up with the peer group and the other members of the society. Then further, see, these are the numbers in this picture, how the child tries to understand these numbers. Then characteristics of children's concepts, how the concepts of children are different from the elder persons. Children concept follow a pattern like concrete to abstract, or the known to unknown. These are the maxims of knowledge. In the beginning, child is having an idea of a table, chair, pen or any object which are there in the environment. After that, these concrete things tries to understand like honesty, sincerity, truth, that when the mother tells the child you should speak truth. So, this truth is understood by the child after the sensation of table, chair and the things or the objects present in the environment. Then children's concepts are cumulative. The past experiences have a great contribution in understanding of the present things. As the concept and percept, they combine together in the same manner, child has its cumulative experiences. If the present things are not being related to the past experiences, then one cannot combine that relationship. Then children's concepts are sometimes erroneous. This is very important to know. Sometimes the erroneous examples are given, these concepts are developed in a wrong manner. Then children concepts are influenced by social environment. So, these characteristics of children concepts are like they follow a pattern, they are cumulative and sometimes experiences are erroneous and sometimes they are influenced by the social environments. So, this way I hope all of you can understand how the sensation, perception and conception combine together and help the individual child to form the right concept, because our right concept are important in our further decision making and any goal to be fulfilled. So, this is very important to know that what are the kinds of concepts, what are the characteristics of concept. I hope it will be useful for all the listeners to know how the concept formation is important for everyone. Thank you. Welcome in this session. In this session, we will discuss that what are the differences in the concept of children and adult, how the concepts are different. Let us see. First, we see that the children have simplicity in their concepts. As they grow up, they learn the other things which are difficult, which are complex, but in the beginning they have simplicity in their concepts. Then further we see that ambiguity. In the very beginning, children have some ambiguity, they are not clear about the concepts. When they are told something by the parents, by the teachers, they find it complicated, how the things are happening, how this concept is related to that, how this thing is happening and what and how questions are there in the mind of the children. Sometime we will discuss later on that these answers when not given by the teachers, teachers, by the parents, they have confusion in their mind. So, this ambiguity later on being cleared by the parents and teachers or their self reading. Then indefiniteness. In the beginning, children have indefiniteness, they have not clarity in their mind. Later on, when they keep on reading, reasoning and proper training is given, then the definiteness come in the concepts of the children. Then wholeness. In the beginning, they cannot make the things in the parts. They have clear cut idea regarding the whole. After a long training and long reading and reasoning, when they grow up, when they read, then this wholeness takes them to divide how the concepts are divided and how they are related to each other. And the next, the grossness. In the beginning, they understand the thing in the gross, in the totality. They are not able to make it clear cut. Later on, when they grow up, they read, they understand, they come in the contact of the adults or the teachers or the parents or the books, then they come to know how the different parts are related. Then wrong. As in our previous session, we talked that the fault concepts are created. How? Because the social environment influences in forming the concept of the children. So, sometimes the faulty concepts develop, and these are the wrongness. Later on, when they grow up, when they read, when they reason out, when their thinking is developed, when they can analyze the things and then they can understand, then this wrongness of the concept takes them to the correctness. So, it takes time. In the beginning, children have indefiniteness in their concept. The ideas may be wrong. It takes time to help them that how the ideas can be converted into clear cut and the correct. That is why I tell you that the correct concept formation is very important, because if in the beginning the concepts are developed in a wrong manner, throughout the life the children find it very difficult to remove those wrong concepts which have been developed, which have been formed in the beginning, because it is said that the personality is developed in the childhood, not in the later on. So, the experiences of our childhood, they just keep on lingering with us till the later part of the life. It is very easy to forget the experiences of the young age, but it is very difficult to forget the experiences of the childhood. So, it is very important that the right concept should be formed in the childhood, because this is the important time of our personality development, because these experiences later on combined with the new experiences help us to develop our personality, which help us to fulfill our dreams. Then further we see how in this picture the adult is helping the another person to form the right concept, because it is very important to form the right concepts, because once they are formed in a wrong manner, it will be very difficult for the elders and for the individual itself to come out of those wrong concepts. That is why it very emphatically it is said that in the beginning, in the childhood, the care must be given to the development of the child in the class, at the home, in the peer group, and a watch should be over there in the childhood. Then next, stages involved in formation of concepts. Are there any stages which are involved in the formation of concepts? Yes, this is first, that is the sensory exploration. In the beginning, in the first stage, child makes it clear with the senses only, 5 senses, that is touches, seeing, hearing, taste, etc. These are our senses which helps to explore. Then the motor manipulation combined with the sensory experiences which have been gained in the first stage, they help and they combine. Then the third stage comes questioning here, as the child grows up, maybe of 4 years or 6 years, or it depends on the environment or the bringing of the or health of the child, that the child starts questioning. Now these questions, if not answered by the teachers and the parents in a right manner, then the wrong concepts are developed. So when a child starts questioning, these questions should be answered in a proper manner. Proper time should be given to these queries of the children. When these queries are not being satisfied by the parents, then the wrong perception, wrong concepts are started over here. Then reading. When a child now starts going school, starts reading, after reading, the concepts are being more clear to the child, that these are the things, what should I do, what should I not do, what is good for me. Now the child starts or learn to discriminate between the right and wrong, and which is in my favor. Then after reading, next is come, that is the reasoning. Now after reading, child starts reasoning with himself or herself, or with the adults, maybe teachers, maybe parents, that why should I do this, only because of it that you are telling me, or what is the logic behind it. So here, when a child wants to know the logic, I suggest all the listeners that as a parent, as a teacher, we should try to satisfy the logic or reasons of the children. Otherwise, some queries remains in their mind, and they sometimes take the form of illusion and hallucination, because the wrong concepts, wrong illusion and hallucination, they we say they do not lag behind, and they keep on going with the child, and some sort of confusion always remain in the mind of the learner. So this kind of question which are there lingering in the mind of the child should be answered properly. And it depends, because clear cut suggestion cannot be given that this question should be answered this way or that way. It depends. You have to see the age of the child, mental state of the child, or in which area we are putting in. So these kinds of things we have to keep in our mind before answering the child, whether this time this question should be put off by us for the next time, for the next days, or it should be answered properly. Then the last is the training, because sensation and perception then takes the child on the third stage. So this sensing and perception stage help the child in forming the right conception. So I hope this should be realized by the teachers and the parents, that proper training should be given to the child in forming the right concepts. If the right training is not given to the child, then sometimes proper training is not taken by the child. See in this picture how the blocks are being adjusted, and the proper training is given to the child. Steps in concept formation. There are some steps in the concept formation. First, one tries to observe the things, then after the observation, one tries to analyze. After the analysis, the third step is the comparison. One tries to compare between the two things. Then abstraction. In abstraction stage, one tries to find out the similarities between the two objects, between the two objects. Then the generalization. Now one tries to formulate some principle, and after the generalization, the last step in the concept formation is the labeling, when one is able to give the name to that object or that event or that happening. So these are the steps in the concept formation: observation, analysis, comparison, abstraction, generalization and labeling. And in this context, again I would like to say that the proper training should be given in forming the proper concept by the teachers and by the parents. Then faulty concepts. Sometimes it happens that the faulty concepts are being developed. How these develop? First is the faulty information. When faulty information, wrong information is given to the child. As just now I was talking to you that when there is some query in the mind of the child, then the proper answer, proper logic should be given by the adults. When wrong information is given, sometime when child is asking something, the parents just put off the question and try to create a fear in the mind of the child. For example, a small child is not taking milk. The mother may say, I'll tell you your teacher. What the teacher will do in this context, you should say that you should have milk because it is good for you, not because of it that the teacher will rebuke you. Some simple things this way. Sometime teacher may give the wrong information and sometime parents may do. So we have to keep in mind the small gestures in the mind, that never try to tell these kind of information, never give wrong information. Then superstitious belief. How superstitious belief takes place in the mind of the children? These are handed over from generation to generation, from mothers or from the parents to the children. So sometimes these superstitious beliefs create the wrong concept in the mind of the children. Then misunderstanding of words. Sometimes there is the ambiguity or double meaning of the words. So this kind of misunderstanding of words create the faulty concepts, faulty reasoning. Sometimes we are not able to reason out in a proper manner. This faulty reasoning create the fault concepts. Then vivid imagination. We keep on daydreaming, we keep on imagining, and this way the wrong concepts are being developed. Then attributes of concepts. Some concepts are more learnable, and side by side we see that some concepts are more usable in learning of the another concepts. And what do we mean by validity? A concept is valid to the extent when most of the experts agree to the meaning and definition or its usability. Then generality. Generality means when one concept is helping out in understanding of the other concept. This way, sometime one concept is giving power to the other concept, and concepts have its own structure and they have instances of perceptibility. So these are various attributes of concepts. Next, we see the level of concepts. Concrete level, identity level, classificatory level and formal level. At concrete level, we just understand the things, then we try to identify, then we can try to classificate, and then the formal level. Formal level, at this level we try to label out, we can give the name of the concept. Then the last very important thing is the educational implications. In this particular context, we will try to understand why a teacher, why a parent should know what is the sensation, what is the perception and what is the concept formation. How do all these three aspects combine together to form the proper concept and positive thinking in the child, what a teacher can do. In this manner, I will suggest the student should be made aware of the similarities and differences between material, because in the beginning they do not have the concept of weight. Suppose we are teaching mathematics or any science, then we should make it clear to the children that different objects have different weight, like we can give example of cotton and iron, some lightweight object and the other heavyweight objects. So this way children should be made aware how to find similarities between the two things, and they can be made conscious of names, examples and characteristics. After giving the example, opportunities should be given to the children that with the help of the examples they can find out what are the principles on the basis of examples. Then concept can impart knowledge of the structure of the material, because right concepts have been developed. Then constructive and negative aspects can be developed. They should be told about the positive phenomena. If you do it, it is negative. If you do it, it is positive. and students can be taught to evaluate the information. This is very important because at this stage we expect that their concepts are being formed. So, they should be able to judge whether this is right or wrong. This is what we mean by they should be able to develop this feeling of discrimination, that they can discriminate between right and wrong. And the last, success of teaching depends upon the growth of the concept of the students. How are teaching? A teacher may be using the best of the methods, best of the teaching aids and best of the psychological principles, but if the teacher is not able to create the right concept in the mind of the children, then the teaching cannot be successful and there cannot be learning. So, my dear friends, I hope you will keep in mind that how a teacher can contribute in forming the right concepts and what is the role of the parents, and above all how any individual can take care of all these phenomena in creating right concepts so that his goals are fulfilled.
Definitely one's goals could be fulfilled if one has power to form a concept, as Dr. Parveen herself said. Now ma'am, as we have discussed a lot on concept formation, now I want to know what should be the role of perception in concept formation. Does perception plays a role?
Yes, perception plays a very important role, because with the help of the perception, our social qualities, our aesthetic qualities and qualities of adjustment are developed. And as we are aware that in the society one has to make adjustment, how any individual will make adjustment, it all depends on the perception of the individual. So, social qualities and social attributes are developed on the basis of perception. You know, for example, a student is roaming about in the marketplace and teacher meets him, and teacher is asking him, why are you roaming in the market, why don't you study? This all depends on the perception of the student. One thought can come in the mind of the student that he is after me, why he is rebuking me, what is his concern, and other thought can come in the mind of the student, oh, such a great teacher, he is concerned about my time and my future. So, this way, this is the perception of the child, what kind of thoughts come in his mind. This is the role of the perception.
This is the role of the perception, and perception is built at the school level, at home, and it could be formed anywhere. So, perception is required first for the concept formation later. Now, if we have discussed about the hallucination also, what are the causes of hallucination?
Basically, sometimes we keep on reflecting on one thing and it creates in our mind that it may be visual or it may be auditory. Sometimes we keep on thinking about one thing and sometimes it is in our unconscious mind, and in some extreme cases it is like a disease, like hysteria. We keep on thinking about that thing, and I say that if we keep on thinking something, we feel that it is happening. It is not happening without the absence of external stimuli. So, if we keep on reflecting the thing, we feel that suppose we are thinking about a person, he is not present in before us, but we feel that he is sitting before us. So, it is if it takes in the extreme case, it is like a disease.
We have talked about hallucination, and now if we talk about illusion, what are the causes of illusion?
Illusion, sometimes our past experiences, they are bitter. So, and wrong information are given to us. Suppose a child is asking something to the mother, to the father or to the teacher, and right information is not given. So, our past experiences, they keep on lingering, and our present interests sometimes keep on changing. So, our past experiences, our present interest, our faulty information, they just combine, and our illusion, wrong feeling, wrong understanding of the things create in our mind, and these are the causes of illusion.
Though we have discussed illusion and hallucination independently, but could illusion be the cause of the hallucination in the future?
They are interrelated, because wrong information is given, illusion in our mind, and we keep on thinking. So definitely after the illusion, it takes us to the stage of sometime hallucination, because things are not happening, we are just imagining, and sometime it is in our unconscious mind that we think, oh, it may not happen. For example, a student has prepared for the examination, and one particular question he is thinking about that, oh, I am not good at this point, it may not appear in the examination, examiner may not ask this thing, and it will happen because you are thinking about thing, that question will come because you are thinking of that thing, and it happens. Then this illusion takes the form of hallucination.
Now, I want to know how the faculty concepts are made by the vivid imaginations.
Faulty conceptions take us to the vivid imagination, because we are thinking about that, and these are faulty information. Suppose, as I have given a very small example, that the child is not having milk, and the mother says, oh, take milk, otherwise I will complain to your teacher, child is very small. So this is wrong information, because this way child is afraid of the teacher for not having milk. Rather, the mother should say, you should take milk because milk is good for you, not because of it that the teacher will rebuke you. Then, or sometime when the child is crying, teacher, the mother will say, I'll send you to the school, then I will complain to the teacher. So this is wrong information. And moreover, at home, sometime father is away, and the child is making some nuisance, the mother may say sometime, let your father come. This is wrong information, because the child realizes all the power lying with the father, and this is a useless creature, so may not respect. So this way we should not say that I will complain to your father, I will complain to your teacher. So this way some faulty information create the vivid imagination.
Can we say, as you explained yourself, but talking about the concept formation further, does creating extreme fear in an individual hampers the growth of the concept formation?
Yes, very well. You have asked very intelligent question, that sometime unnecessarily, as a father, as a mother, as a teacher, or an adult person, we just rebuke, and the child may have a feeling of fear. That kind of fear create an obstacle in the growth of the learner, because sometimes we say, or most of the time we say, that freedom is the first condition of the creativity or the imagination. If child is afraid of all the time, may not reason out what is wrong and what is right, and it creates an obstacle in the proper growth of the learner.
When we are talking about a learner at the elementary stage, and we have discussed why it is important not to create unnecessary or extreme fear within the individual, then what should be the parameter of setting an individual free? Because once you have let an individual free, then the person can go in the wrong direction also. So what should be the limit of taking the individual?
This is a very challenging and difficult question, because there is no psychologist, no book, no teacher which can give a parameter that here you have to rebuke the child, here you have to show the affection. It all depends on the age and of the child, and the situation and the circumstances, because there is no parameter. You yourself are the judge of that criteria.
Definitely, you are a mother of two also, and you have faced this set of questions while bringing them out as an individual. But again and again, as we are talking about concept formation, and for concept formation, one should be set free through mind, through brain, through heart. So at last, what do you want to say for the entire lecture?
It is said that when the head is held high, when the mind is without fear. Head is held high when the mind is without fear. If you have fear in your mind, if I ask this question to my teacher, teacher may not rebuke, then all the queries will remain in the mind of the student. And the same thing at home. If you are so strict, it is very difficult for proper growth of the child. So it depends, or you have to set a criteria how much lenient you have to be and how much strict you have to be. So it depends, and one has to put his own logic where to be strict and where have to be lenient. Sometimes you become more lenient, then the child may misuse your leniency, and sometimes when you are very strict, then the child may be afraid of. So it is a very critical situation. One has to set a parameter, and it depends on the individual.
Definitely. Thus we can say that before giving an individual freedom of action, we should give him or her freedom of expression.
Yes.
So that without any fear he or she can ask questions, because asking a question in itself is an art.
Yes, we are living in a democratic country, so the child, the student has their freedom, so they may not be afraid of, if I ask this question to my parents, if I ask this question to my teacher, may not rebuke me. Though that sort of freedom should be given to the children, but वो जो स्वतंत्रता है वो उच्छृंखलता का रूप ना ले ले, वो हमें एक बात ध्यान में रखनी चाहिए और इस बात का एहसास बच्चे को करा देना चाहिए.
Exactly. Once one is free to ask questions, definitely one would be able to answer
within
those
discipline,
questions.
Within discipline.
Exactly. Yeah. This is the set of the limit which I was talking earlier. That yes, we have to set the parameters. We need to let the children think liberally, act liberally. But for that also, we need to think liberally, so that one could explore beyond the boundaries, but being in the boundary zone
of discipline. Yes.
Definitely. With this note, we would like to take your leave, and we would like to thank Dr. Parveen Sharma once again for giving a very, very productive session, because the session is, I would say, is not only for the students or the children, it is the topic for a general discussion, where we sometimes lack also, though we have grown and we think that we have grown, but still we are sometimes within the boundaries. We don't explore. So dear friends, explore and explore and explore, and keep exploring the lectures which have been uploaded for you on YouTube, as this lecture also would be very soon for you on YouTube, with the help of which you can access it with the number of times you wanted. We would be meeting again very soon and would be discussing on some other topic, and I hope that these lectures would help you definitely in carving your personality, in developing the better you. With this note again, thank you, ma'am.